Hey, welcome back to Keep Creating You. Today, we are going to talk about the woo topic of choice lately, and that is manifesting. Are you manifesting your best? Hey there, I see you sitting in the shadows. Welcome to Keep Creating You. This podcast was created to bring Generation X women a plan and strategy for the next part of their life. Are you one of those women who lived in their 20s and 30s raising children, and you found yourself looking at your life and wondering, what's next? Then this podcast is for you. We discuss how to look at the next half of your life and decide what your next steps will be. Whether that is creating a business, starting a side hustle, or maybe you plan to stay in the career you love. How do you plan to get the most out of your life? How do you plan to keep creating you? Join me for this episode as we discuss a few steps for the next part of your life. So today we're going to talk about a topic that is kind of an interesting word. I'm not even sure when I first heard this word manifestation. And it's interesting because I never used it in any kind of a correlation as much as it's being used now. So even way back, if I think about when I may have first used the word, I'm not sure I used it in a woo type fashion. And what I mean by woo type fashion, if you are not a woo Gen Xer, is somebody that is feeling spiritual in some fashion, or somebody that is maybe more of a type of coach. Spirituality and manifestation seems to be hand in hand right now. And whether or not it was when we were younger, I'm not sure, but definitely it has been popping up more and more in life now. Now, one thing I will say is I have been told for years to do some meditation. And honestly, I was told years ago to meditate to lose weight. And I have never found that to be something that I have been able to do, whether or not that's because I am not meditating correctly. I don't know. I feel like I am. You know, you basically stop and only think about breathing in your nose, out your mouth, or in your nose, out your nose. And when your thoughts start to wander, you bring your thoughts back to just your breathing. Some people say to make a affirmation prior to meditation, and some people say to set a timer. It's all up to how you feel like you should meditate. And it's kind of a personal thing. You know, some people feel like they meditate for a number of minutes and then they feel a sense of a rush sense come to them, and that is their manifestation. They're manifesting that next idea, that next thought in their head. And some people will do it and say, I don't know, nothing happened. You know, I've been on both sides. I've seen both sides happen with different people. So I guess it depends, again, how much you believe in the power of manifestation. Ultimately, if you are a meditator and you really believe that you can lose weight by meditating, that might be something that works for you. I have never been able to achieve that, but I have been able to achieve a sense of calm and a sense of completeness through meditation, manifesting my own calmness, my own completeness through this. I have had, in some instances, a manifestation of certainly ideas. That, I think that's probably the first time. You know, the first time everybody has this is, oh, I manifested this idea. That happens actually quite often to me. And I feel like that is because it's a creative outlet. I'm very creative. And so I'm bringing forth whatever that creativity is. And if I'm going to go back even further, I'm going to say any kind of creativity that you do that wasn't directly a copy of something is you manifesting something out of nothing, right? So you've got a piece of paper, you've got some inks, you've got some paints, and you've got some stencils, some stamps or something like that, markers. And you don't have any idea in your head what you're going to do other than you were given these items and you go to town and you create something. You've not only just created it, but you've kind of manifested it, right? It was in your head. You had a thought, or maybe you didn't really know where that thought was going to go. You just knew you wanted to use the color blues or whatnot. And it just grew and grew and grew. So it manifested itself, correct? It's kind of an interesting way to think about stuff, whether or not you and your mind can actually bring forth an idea and make it happen. But realistically, every time you create something, that's what you're doing. You're manifesting it. And so by that fashion, I am going to say that, yeah, we're all manifesting our best each time we're creating anything, whether or not that be a podcast like this right here, or whether or not that be a piece of art, or even a flower garden. You know, you have to have a little bit of an idea of where you're going to put those individual flowers, right? Whether or not the geraniums go in the front, or maybe the daylilies go in the back and the hosta goes in the middle, whatever it is, you have in your head this idea of what it is that you need, and you're creating it, you're manifesting it at the same time. Okay. So by definition, manifestation is the act or fact of showing an abstract idea. If you are into mixed media art, you are manifesting every time you create, right? Because that's an abstract idea. Many people are not actually, think about it, mixed media, even though people have been doing mixed media art for a number of years, mixed media art wasn't really mainstream until maybe the late 2000s, early 2010s. Before that, sure, it was used. People did it, absolutely. But I'm talking when it became mainstream. So in this particular case here, anything abstract, right? So any kind of art that is more abstract is a manifestation that has been thought up in this person's head, or maybe not quite thought up, but just had an inkling, a baby idea, and they put it out onto paper or onto a canvas and they manifested it. If you are looking to manifest something for your life, all you need is a baby idea. That baby, with a tiny bit of nurturing or a tiny bit of meditation or a tiny bit of just feeding every day or every other day, can grow into a manifestation of whatever that is. And will that idea make you $1 million? Hell yeah, could. Sure. Will that idea, that baby idea, grow into you losing weight? Maybe, right? You just have to have that thought in your head, and then you meditate and you manifest it. Now, another definition here of manifestation is an event, action, or object that clearly shows or embodies something, especially a theory or an abstract idea. So again, that goes back to the abstract idea, goes back to showing, but this also talks about a theory, which, as we just mentioned, is a baby idea, right? And if that's what you want to think about, manifestation is just the growth of an idea. And everybody has ideas. Everybody wants to grow some ideas. And if you're growing an idea, you are manifesting it. And why not manifest your best when you're doing that, right? This is kind of a different topic here. I know that it's not one that everybody is going to view or listen to and say, you know what? Yeah, I totally agree with that. Again, it is a spiritual side, those type people, but it is very popular right now. I think it's going to continue to be because I do feel like a lot of times people are really looking to grasp onto what that next thing is. And the power of our brains is amazing. You know, you have that idea. Your brain doesn't shut off completely when you go to sleep. So you're having this idea of, you know, whatever it is, this new business that you want to grow, this weight loss that you want to do, this new hobby, whatever it is that you have in your head. And you are growing that each time you go to sleep, you're walking down the street, coloring. Oh my goodness. Coloring is a great way to do some meditation and manifestation because it takes no thought to color really. And it really is relaxing. So anytime you're relaxing, hot tub, hot yoga, walking the dog, anytime you're doing something and you are just have a blank idea, blank thought in your head, just thinking about nothing, staring off into the abyss, your brain is still working. And it is working on whatever that forefront thought was that you may have had. And if that thought was a small idea about a business venture or weight loss or whatever it is, your brain is manifesting it without you even knowing. Isn't that cool? So I'm actually a full-on proponent for the manifestation. I do believe that I have manifested quite a bit in my life, and I continue to. I really feel that this is a avenue where I actually have some strengths. I really feel like I feel like we all have strengths in it, and I feel like it's one of those things that even if you don't believe in the woo side, you probably still believe in the mind over matter side, right? And mind over matter is basically just manifestation. So, all right. Thanks so much for listening to this episode. And until next time, keep creating you. Thank you for listening to Keep Creating You. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you like the show, I would love it if you'd hit that subscribe button on your favorite podcast player so you don't miss an episode. I would also totally appreciate it if you gave me a rating or a review. I'd love to know if this information is resonating with you. If you're looking for more information about myself or this podcast episode, you can find that over at kpcreativemedia.com/podcast. You can always find the links and resources mentioned on the show there. And if you're looking to start your own podcast, let me know. I'd love to help you. Let's talk about your idea. What's your next step in your life? Until next time, see you soon.